My name is Ann Van Oppen, and I'm doing a little demonstration on non-toxic printmaking. I have a formula for soft ground for etching onto copper plates. Actually, it's soft ground and hard ground. It depends on how long you allow the material I make to cure. I'm doing a collaborative print with Lisa Toth in New York, and she is a relief printmaker and wants to learn etching. So I'm going to prepare some hard ground plates for her and send them back east, and she's going to draw on them. I'm in Los Angeles. We're about 3,000 miles apart. Anyway, I came up with a formula to make soft ground after looking at the non-toxic print site. It's www.nontoxicprint.com. And so I had some of the materials on hand that wasn't exactly what they used. And in my formula, I use water-based reliefing from Daniel Smith. I use speedball transparent base for screen printing, and I use golden gel medium for acrylic paint. And I also use glass wax to stabilize this material. The formula is 2 parts reliefing, 1 part transparent base, 1 part gel medium. This mixture is the core mixture, and when I go to actually apply that to the plate, I add equal part of glass wax to it. And the glass wax helps it to dry a little bit and get hard, which makes it very nice to work on and draw on. So I'm going to prepare these copper plates for Lisa. I have to sand them and bevel the edges a little bit. These copper plates are 22 gauge copper. This is some material that I have had around here, and that you may notice there's some little edge here. That's because I hand cut these. I don't have a table shear, but they work fine, and once they are roughed up and filed, I'll apply the ground. So we'll come back when I've mixed it up and I'm ready to go. Okay? Thank you. Hi there, we're back. I've mixed up the soft ground, and I've roughed up the plates and beveled the edges. Once again, this is 22 gauge copper, and you want to rough up the plate because it gives a little bit of a surface for the soft ground or hard ground to stick to. So now I'm going to mix up the soft ground. I put it in my container. I'm going to mix it with the glass wax. I put a cover on here of wax paper. This helps keep this mix lasting longer. It won't dry out. It keeps the air out of there. I highly recommend that you try this or get those if you do this process, because you don't want to have to keep mixing this up every time you want to do a soft ground. Okay, there I've got about so much out here. Cover back up my concoction, and the glass wax has been shaken, and I simply squirt out approximately the same amount as I've got of the soft ground. My sister came in here the other day, and it reminded her of her childhood. We used to clean the windows with this. It has kind of a pleasant pepperminty smell. So I'm going to mix this up, and this takes just a second. What's going to take a little bit longer is it drying to the right consistency. So we're going to mix it up and then come back and roll it out. Okay? Take a little break. Okay, we've got this mixed up. It's still pretty wet. So I'm going to put some ribbons of it out, and I've got just a basic speedball brayer, and you can see that this is really wet. So I'm going to work on it, and then we're going to come back when it's the right consistency, and you'll see a big difference, but I don't want you to be alarmed. Okay, I've been rolling this out for a few minutes. You can see that the brayer is starting to catch, so we're going to give it a try. And if any of you have done soft ground before with melted wax, you know it takes a little bit of practice to get it just right. And as this goes on here, you can see it gets darker and darker, and I want it pretty dark because that gives a really nice block to protect the plate from the etch, and it gives a really nice edge. When Lisa's drawing on here, she'll be able to get some really nice lines. So I just keep applying like this until it's dark enough and nice and smooth. You don't want to roll it too often back and forth because you'll pull the wax back up. I did forget this isn't wax, this is my concoction. But I did forget to mention, after I roughed up the plates, I degreased them. I put them into a solution of vinegar and salt, which takes all the oil off from my fingers and hands that have been put on there when I was messing with them, cleaning them up and roughing up the surface and smoothing out the edges. I want just a little bit darker than this, so I'm going to add some more. There we go. Oh, got something weird in there. And this is really pretty forgiving. You can mess with it for a long time. I've got some goopy thing in there. Get it off the brayer. Get it nice and smooth. And once I've finished applying this, I let it dry. You can speed up the drying by putting it in the sun. It won't melt, it's not wax. And there you have it. So, this is just about ready. And I try to not mess with it. And there you go. It could probably be just slightly darker than that. But I'm going to finish up the rest of the plates, and then we'll be shipping them off to Lisa, maybe in a day or so. Here we are again. I wanted to add that you can continue doing this. I have covered all the plates with the ground, and now I'm coming back as they've dried a little bit to get a thicker coating on there. The really dark that I want. I'm applying more of the ground on top, and it takes it very nicely. And that is what is important for a really great hard ground. So there we are. I've done this. And I also wanted to tell you that if there's any little flaw or thin area on the plate, I have little thin edges over here and a little thin right there, you can paint this directly onto the plate very carefully, just to get a little thickness in there so that none of the copper is showing through. And that will work really well to protect the blade during the etch. Any little areas. The edges I'll fix later when I am actually etching. But this will keep the plate still a drawing area. If Lisa wants to draw over here in the corner, she can. Okay? And I think that's all I wanted to add. Nice dark hard ground. And I'm going to cover all these again, and then they'll be off.